The infamous LoRAs. Well, as you heard in my last video, I'm not a fan of LoRAs, but some of you are, and I'm a man of the people, so who am I to deny your requests? Now, first up, I will not be covering how to train LoRAs because, as I mentioned before, I just don't want to do that. If you want to find videos on how to train LoRAs, there are 1.5 million of them on YouTube, so there's lots to choose from. But I did have some people asking how to use LoRAs in our Flux workflow, so I will go ahead and show you how to use a pre-trained LoRa from XLabs, which is quite easy to do. All you need is one node and a LoRa model and you're set. So where do we get these? As always, we are going to go to the Patreon page and scroll down until we see Flux plus LoRAs. You will click on our cute little doggo here, right click, open him in a new tab, drag him off to the side, back to Comfy, and simply drag that right into your Comfy, and then go to your manager, install missing custom nodes, do a restart on your Comfy, and you will be set on the nodes. Of course, once we have that workflow imported and our nodes installed, we will need a LoRa. And you can see the Disney LoRa is what I was using for the cute little puppo. Now, there are a wide variety of pre-trained LoRAs all across the internet, but I will go ahead and show you how to get the ones from XLabs. So if you go to huggingface.co, XLabs AI, Flux LoRa collection, of course, there will be a link in the description. You can see the page here where they tell you all about their LoRAs. All you need to do is go to Files and Versions, and you can see the collection of LoRAs here. I've tested all of these, the ones that say Comfy converted and the ones that don't, and they seem to do the exact same thing. So you can choose either one of these that you want in each of these different LoRAs, either the Comfy converted or the one that doesn't say Comfy converted. As far as I can tell, there is no difference. So as always, we will right click, save link as, and these are going to go into Comfy, Models, XLabs, which will be there now that you've restarted Comfy and installed that custom node, into LoRAs. And as you can see, I have all of those there. So you will save that there, go back to your Comfy, and wherever your bar is, whether it's on the bottom or the top, you will just click your little refresh button there. And whenever you come into here, you should now see that list of LoRAs in this drop-down menu. This node simply sits right between your Flux loading nodes and your Flux sampler parameters. So if you're using the NF4, that's there. If you're using the dev model, that's there. Either way, it would just go straight into here and then straight into your sampler. Now, one quick note about these workflows you might have noticed, but my NF4 model here does not say .safetensors anymore. It says .sft, just like my dev model, and the same for my clip models and my VAE. So what I've done is I've gone into my Comfy, into models, into these various folders, for example, checkpoints, and I've renamed everything that I can that said safetensors. Now it says .sft, as well as in my clip vision, my controlnets, my LoRAs, all of my other folders, I have renamed everything to .sft instead of .safetensors. And this is simply a personal preference for me. I like having the shorter names here in my little drop-down menus. That way I can make my nodes just a little bit skinnier and I can still see the full name without it being cut off. So when you click Q, you will get little red boxes around your nodes. All you have to do is click on your little drop-down menu and click the NF4 or the whatever model you have, or alternatively, you could go into your file explorer and rename all of your files from .safetensors to .sft as well. If you're an OCD freak like me and you just want to make the names a little shorter so everything looks a little bit neater, that is an option. But if you don't want to do all that, no big deal. All you have to do is open the drop-down menu and select your NF4 or dev or whatever that says .safetensors instead of the one that says .sft, and you're good to go. Just wanted to mention that so that way whenever you see the little red boxes around all of your nodes, you don't freak out. The one exception to that would be in this load Flux LoRa node. You'll notice that these do still say .safetensors, and that is because I changed the names to sft and it wouldn't work, meaning this node here specifically is looking for the .safetensors file name, so I had to change them back to .safetensors, but everything else else in my Comfy installation, at least almost everything else, is now .sft. So I suppose let's go ahead and see an example. We have our cute little animated, playful Disney pup, and this is the prompt that I used whenever I generated this image that you got over on Patreon. However, that was 1024 by 1024, and I have this now set to 512 by 512, so this could come out looking differently. This does take a little bit longer to run the first time you do it because it has to patch the model. As you can see, here's this nice little message that asks us to please be patient, but that is only on the first time you run it, and then if you run it again, it will be the normal speed you're used to. And here we have our cute little Disney pup, who is quite cute and quite Disney indeed. And if we want to decrease the strength, all we have to do is turn this down. We could say try 0.4 and see what that does. And in this case, it appears we have an entirely different puppy. He still looks quite cute and quite Disney, but I did say Disney in my prompt, so Flux is already making it kind of Disney on its own. Perhaps let's try taking out the word Disney and seeing how that does. So now we have a cute little pup who, in my opinion, still kind of looks Disney, even though we didn't tell it to be very Disney. And I suppose that is an effect of the LoRa. Let's try to turn this up once more and see what that does. Full strength. And you can see it has kind of deformed our text a little bit. I suppose this LoRa model is not specifically trained on text, so you may struggle with generating images with text. It still looks fine, but I would probably refrain from using text and images when you're using these LoRas. Alright, quite cute and quite Disney indeed. Now let's do one final test where we turn this down to 0. Well, this still looks quite cute and still quite Disney. So as you can see, the effects of the LoRas may or may not be negligible, and I lied. Let's do one more. Let's try anime. Strength at 0.9. Well, I suppose maybe he still looks quite Disney in my opinion, even though we no longer have Disney in our prompt and we are not using the Disney LoRa. In any case, I certainly wouldn't call it anime. So perhaps to get the full effect of this, you might want to put anime in your prompt. Although that said, again, Flux can do anime and Disney and these other styles on its own quite well. So the LoRas just don't seem very useful to me. Again, if I'm wrong about that, if you found some pre-trained LoRas that are very useful, that have very strong effects, put that stuff in the comments, and I would be happy to make another video to say that I stand corrected and that we have found LoRas with powerful effects. But until then, I'm going to stick to the IP adapters and the controlnets because you can get quite powerful effects from those without having to pre-train a LoRa. So that's it for this one. For those of you who wanted to know how to use the LoRas with your Flux workflow, that's all you need to do. You just need to get that one node and the LoRa models and put it right between your Flux model and your sampler, and you are all set. Hopefully to those of you who wanted to know about LoRas, you found this useful. If you did, be sure to like the video, make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, and be sure to share this with anyone you know who might find it useful as well. I'm going to get on to the IP adapter and controlnet videos, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.